Infidelity. Why women cheat on good men. The truth will shock you. That's the topic we'll be discussing here tonight, live. So stick around for all that and much, much more that's coming right. Whoa! Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. So that way you won't miss a single thing when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. That's right. I'm here to help as many people as possible that are open to the help. First and foremost, you must be open to the help before anyone can help you, let alone me. So if you're open to the help, I'm here to help you get the best possible grip on your life so that way you can accomplish whatever it is that your heart desires. All right. Welcome to the show. Everyone, welcome to this show. This is going to be a very good show. And I've got some great personal stories, at least one very good personal story to explain during the first part of this show. So stick around for that. That's coming up in just a little bit. But first, let me make sure that the notification has gone out on YouTube, and it has. Let me also check out the YouTube back end and see if things are rolling smoothly. Got an excellent stream status. That's wonderful. We're looking good. Once again tonight, we are also simulcasting live on Facebook, and it looks like there's already one person out there. I can only assume that's my good buddy Darren, but I could be wrong. You never know. You never know. Darren loves these shows. He looks forward to these shows. But let me just make sure that everything is running properly on Facebook.
Wrong. You never know. You never know. Darren loves these shows. He
yes.
Looks forward to these shows.
Looks good. Once again on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I've got lots of bandwidth at my place. I've got fiber, 1,000 up, 1,000 down, so I can pretty much run an unlimited amount of devices with no issues. No issues at all. Even while I'm streaming in very high quality to both YouTube and Facebook with individual connections. Hopefully you get fiber soon in your area. And by the way, I guess Elon Musk is launching this new satellite service that's going to be providing, I got an itch on my nose, sorry. It's an itch for good luck. It's going to be providing gigabit internet through satellite, through the satellites. So, and it's going to be different than the satellite internet we have nowadays for you folks that can't get internet any other way, since you probably live in Timbuktu, no disrespect. The latency is going to be much lower, and it's going to be much better. Still, any hardwired cable or fiber connection, or even DSL is going to be even better than satellite. But if you can't get a good enough speed, or you can't get internet any other way in your area, this is going to be a great alternative. And I heard it's going to be pretty affordable, like $100 or less, and that's pretty good deal. But again, we're not here to talk about, internet connections and all that. We're here to talk about infidelity tonight and why women cheat on good men. But before we even get to that, God, my nose is itching for good luck. It's a good luck itch. It's a good luck itch. But before we get to that, as always, I want to start out this show by paying special props to this channel sponsor. It is none other than an amazing longtime friend of mine that runs one of the most trustworthy and reputable marketing companies. He is the CEO, founder, and owner of the Discover Community Network for all of your product and service needs from the most trusted professionals in the industry. Please visit www.discovercommunitynetwork.com. One more time, that's www.discovercommunitynetwork.com. discovercommunitynetwork.com. You can also visit a subsidiary of the Discover Community Network known as the DCN Internet Radio Network. And when you go on that website, you're going to find a bunch of talk and music internet radio stations. And more than likely, one of those talk or music internet radio stations will suit your talk or music genre needs. So if you like that kind of thing, please check out www.dcninternetradionetwork.com. One more time, that's www.dcninternetradionetwork.com. Both those links are below in the description, about a third of the way down on the YouTube side of things. And if you go to either of those websites and you also look into how to connect with Troy by phone or email and you reach out to Troy and speak with him, please do not forget to mention that Coach Eli, as always, sends you with lots and lots of love. All right. Once again, welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the show. 7 people viewing right now on YouTube. Nobody chatting. Where are my mods tonight? Are my mods sleeping, or are they just tired of me? Do you not love me anymore? Do you not love Coach Eli anymore? That would be okay. No big deal. Coach Eli loves everyone regardless. I have lots of love for everyone, even to the people that don't love Coach Eli, because I'm very strong and secure deep within myself. And, I understand that, when people don't like you, that's not what's really happening. What's really happening is that they're not liking something about themselves deep within, and they're projecting that onto you because they perceive you to be, happier than they are. And because they seem to think they can't be happy, or they feel they aren't as capable of being as happy as you, they want to kick you down to bring you down to their level to make themselves feel better. But anyway, that's all good. Hopefully some mods show up soon so I don't have to pay too close attention to the chat. But anyways, I'm going to get right to it tonight because I have a hard stop. At about 8:45 Pacific, which is 11:45 Eastern. So I've got about an hour and a half to present this material, and it's probably going to be pretty tight because there's a lot to talk about. So let's get to the topic here. Why women cheat. This itch is really bothering me. Sorry. Damn. I know it's unprofessional, but it is good luck at the same time. So, hey, I'm just rolling with it. The topic of tonight's show is why women cheat on good men. Whose fault is it really? The truth will shock you. One more time. Why women cheat on good men. Whose fault is it really? The truth will shock you. And I said the truth will shock you because most guys out here that have been cheated on are going to put the blame 100% on the woman. How do I know that? Because I used to feel the same way until I took a deep, closer, harder look on why I was cheated on in one of my relationships. Okay? Not my last one. My last one was a good relationship. It just ran its course. Okay? The one before that. And people that have been following me for quite some time already know this story. And the people that have been following me are people that, really don't like myself or my content, and they may have their response to this, but I'm not really concerned about what they say. I care more about people that are here for the right reason and really want to learn a valuable lesson here. People that, own up to their mistakes when they make mistakes. Now, granted, infidelity is something I don't condone for whatever reason, okay? But it does actually happen for a reason, for a good reason. Even though it shouldn't happen, there's a reason why it happens, especially if you're a good man, okay? If you're a good man, you love your woman, you take her out on dates, blah, 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 right? There's a reason why it even happens to good men that feel everything was going great. But all of a sudden you find out that your woman is cheating on you, and then you're upset and you're wondering what happened. Is she just a narcissist? Is she, not capable of being faithful to anyone? Well, there are men and women like that. But even normal, decent, down-to-earth women have done this to guys, and there is a reason for that. So I'm going to start off tonight's show by, sharing the story of an ex-girlfriend, 2 ex-girlfriends ago. This goes back to my early 40s. I think I was 40 or 41 when I met this woman. And this woman was legally separated, going through a divorce. Her divorce had not been finalized. And, I had asked her, when we started talking, I met her from Match.com, are you ready to move on? Because, you're legally separated. I mean, have you moved past emotionally, in regards to your marriage? And she said she was. I've been done for a long time. It just took me a while to, file and get things rolling. And I said, okay. So I basically gave her a chance. Now, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, you have to decide for yourself what works. In my opinion, I would not date anyone, at least seriously, if they're legally separated or going through a divorce. I would not date anyone seriously until they've been divorced for at least 6 months or a year. A year would be even better, because it may end up, causing issues. A lot of times, women have been deprived in their marriages, and they're looking for a quick temporary fix. They think they may want a relationship at that point, but basically they're looking for some missing companionship that they haven't had or they didn't have in their marriage for a while, intimacy, whatever, right? And, if you have that with a woman, and even if it feels great and it feels real, you're not going to know. You're not going to know until you've been with her for at least 6 months or a year. And after 6 months or a year, she still feels the same way. Well, I went through this experience with this particular ex. Okay. And what ended up happening, I've shared this story in the past. I'll go ahead and share it again. So guys, you can learn, and women, you can learn from this as well too. Okay. So, I was dating this woman. It was, the relationship lasted for, I think, a year, almost a year. And, it was at about the 10-month point. Well, at the 3-month point, I'll just, recap what I've mentioned in the past. At the 3-month point, she asked me, how do you feel about me? And, where do we stand? And this and that. And basically she, wanted to, make what we had a commitment, because for the first 2 to 3 months in the relationship, your job as a man is to just hang out, have fun, and hook up. You take out your woman, she reaches out to you by text or calls you, says, hey, babe, how's it going? Good, babe, how you doing? And your job as a man is, hey, when are you free to get together? That's it. You hang out, you have fun, and you hook up. And that's what I was doing with this woman. Like, I was just with her, but I'm just hanging out. We were going and doing things, right? Having a good time, having fun. And then at night, we'd hook up and have some great loving, right? It's all good. When a woman, starts to see a pattern of something she likes and it feels good to her, she wants to try to lock that down. And that, like I've said in the past, is the woman's job. It's not your job as the man to try and lock down the woman and ask her where we stand. That's her job, right? Because in order for any relationship to work, it has to be her idea. If it's not her idea more than yours, then she's going to perceive you as less valuable to her. I'll share more about that in a little bit. That's important. And that'll turn her off, and it's just not going to work, right? You don't believe me? Try it out. Try to lock a woman down after 2 or 3 months. You as a man, try to, ask her, where do we stand? And, where do you see this going? And if you have to ask her that, that means she's not quite ready yet, or she's still trying to feel it out before she gets to that point. And if you ask that, especially prematurely or even at all, it's just going to ruin everything you have. So don't do that. Leave that up to the woman, right? So this was happening in a textbook way. She'd reach out to me. I'd make a date. We'd hang out, have fun, hook up. And about the 2.5 to 3 month period, I can't remember exactly. It was many years ago. She asked me, where do we stand? And she kept asking me because she was trying to get me to profess my love for her, which I eventually ended up doing, which ended up being a big mistake. But at that point, I didn't realize that. And I've learned a lot more about that relationship since that time. And I've even realized that, hey, maybe what happened was primarily, if not completely, my fault. And I'm going to come out here tonight and be man enough and share that and explain why I feel that way, because a lot of you guys can learn a lot from this. You can learn a lot from this. Okay, sorry, just got a notification here. So we would, hang out quite often. She lived an hour and a half away from me. So there were times where, instead of fighting traffic and driving back and forth an hour and a half each way, 3 hours round trip, longer with traffic, she had no problem with me, staying at her place for a week or two at a time. And for me, being self-employed, all I need is my laptop and my smartphone, and I can run my business from anywhere. Now, what ended up happening? I'm going to tell you what she did. I'm going to tell you about the cheating first, and then I'm going to go back and tell you why I now know it happened, right? And share with you guys, especially you guys, but you ladies out there as well, a different perspective of how to look at things if you really want something to work with a woman, okay? So this is about 10 months or so into it. We had, this ex of mine and I, we used to go to a bunch of business networking events together that I used to attend. She used to come with me on her days off. She was a doctor. She was a veterinarian. And I introduced her to a good friend of mine. And at that point, I was still running, for those of you that know me for a while know I used to be an insurance broker. I was still running my insurance business, but I was also starting a new business, an advertiser specialty and promotional product type of business, a distribution type of business for those products. Because a friend of mine named Aaron, him and his father used to run a business like that, and he kind of wanted to, restart that business, but restart it with somebody that's business savvy and tech savvy and has the experience to get something going like this off the ground, which was me. And him and I, this guy Aaron and I, we met through networking. We became great friends, right? And he lived about an hour away in the Sacramento area. And my ex used to live in the far East Bay area. I don't know if you know the Bay Area, folks. Like, this is like the furthest east point of the Bay Area before you hit the Central Valley. This is like the Oakley, Brentwood, Antioch area. And it's an area that's a little bit cheaper to live in than other parts of the Bay Area, but even prices are going up there now. But at that point, this was 6-7 years ago. At that point, you could still get a pretty big house out there, like my ex had, for $500,000. Now those homes are going to be $700,000 to $800,000, and they're going to be nearing $1 million at some point. But that's the area where it was at. So I would stay at her place, for weeks at a time, and I'd introduce her to my friend Aaron through networking, and we made plans. My ex had a couple of days off coming, and we made plans to spend time with my friend Aaron, and work on this new business that we had started, the advertiser specialty and promotional product business. And my ex was involved in that business as well. So we were going to all get together and brainstorm and do some marketing and figure out how to move it forward, right? So while she was at work this one day, I drove to Sacramento from her place in Oakley, which is about an hour drive. Beautiful drive. From that area to get to Sacramento, you go across this highway called Highway 160 through the Sacramento Delta, and you're right along this beautiful body of water that if you take a boat and drive around it, it leads all the way to the SF Bay and even San Francisco. It's pretty cool. That body of water goes from like Sacramento to San Francisco in the Pacific Ocean. If you're going to do a boat ride from Sacramento to the Bay Area, it's going to literally take you at least 8 hours. It's an all-day affair. I've had friends that have done it, but I've never done it, but I would love to do that at some point. But yeah, I was taking the nice drive and went to pick up, our friend Aaron, brought him back to my ex's place, and he was going to spend a couple of days with us, and we were going to drive him back, a couple nights later before my ex had to go to work the next day, right? So we had this thing all planned out, right? So we get back to my ex's place. She had told me that she's going to meet my friend Aaron and I for dinner. She gets off work at 7 o'clock, and, we would be eating within the next hour, right? At 7 o'clock at night, she texts me and says that, still at work, running a little bit late, but I may end up spending some time with some friends tonight for a little bit. And this was at a time where, she was about to make a change for the employer that she was working. She was getting a new job. She was ending her job, at the current place she was working at as a veterinarian. So, she was able to initially at least kind of say, hey, this is what she said. Sorry. She gets back to me an hour later and says, I'm going to be going out with some friends for a little bit. Go and have, dinner with Aaron. It's my last few days here at work, and some people want to spend time with me, and I want to spend time with them, right? Hey, American Dream 6.2, welcome to the show, bro. And I was like, okay. She goes, but I'll be back around, 10 or 11 o'clock or so, right? And I didn't really think too much about it at that point. I should have, but I didn't. Because yes, she was going to be leaving that place of employment where she was at. And I'm like, okay, I'm a, confident, secure guy. Not a big deal, right? Not a big deal. Well, 11 o'clock came, didn't hear from her, right? 11:30 came around that time or so. And she said, she sent me a text saying, still with friends, be back soon, right? And let's forward another hour or two. This is now, about 1 in the morning or so, 1:30 in the morning or so. I text her and I said, I'm very concerned. Aaron and I are very concerned about you. Are you okay? What's going on? She didn't get back to me. And we started to get really worried each and every hour that I didn't hear from her or she wasn't home, right? And typically, my ex and I would sleep upstairs in the bed, but my friend Aaron was sleeping on the couch. And because I didn't want to, go upstairs, and we were both, concerned about, what was going on with her each and every hour that she didn't, text me or call me or come home, that I just stayed downstairs. Aaron ended up falling asleep at around 3 o'clock, and I was just, pacing around and just trying to really figure out what was going on. And in my head, I was just thinking to myself, she's with another guy. I didn't want to believe that, but she was with another guy is what I was thinking, right? 4 a.m. came, didn't hear from her. 5 a.m., I didn't hear from her. 6 a.m., didn't hear from her. 7 a.m., didn't hear from her. Around 8 a.m. or so, or shortly after that, I can't remember the exact time, between 8 and 9 a.m. or so, I hear her car pulling in. I couldn't sleep at all. And typically when she would pull in, she would use the automatic garage door opener to open the garage and park her car in her garage, right? But in this case, she didn't open up the garage, and she, just pulled in to the driveway. And apparently, obviously she did that because she figures I probably fell asleep and that she could sneak in and, nothing would be noticed, right? But she opened the door. And she came in, and I was wide awake, and I was right there waiting for her. And she was shocked. And I looked at her, and her hair was all messed up. It looked like a tornado hit her. It looked like, Chad and Bob and Larry, Never mind. I'm not going to say too much more. I don't want to get this demonetized or anything, but it looked like a torpedo hit her. I can laugh about it now, but I wasn't feeling that way at that point. And so I, make a long story short, I've shared this before in the past. Sharing this part is not the point, but I want to, catch people up that haven't been here in the past. Oh no, says American Dream. And we went upstairs and said, we need to talk. And, we talked, and I should have just broken up with her right then and there. What I should have done was, I should have awakened Aaron and said, dude, I'm going to take you home, and then I'm going home. But here's the problem. I didn't have an ounce of sleep. And, I was going to be fighting traffic going to Sacramento an hour away to take Aaron home, and then I have to drive back 2.5 hours from there back to my place, without any sleep. I don't think I would have made it. I wasn't going to do that. So, I basically felt forced to be cool about this whole thing, and I ended up telling her, listen, I don't want to tell Aaron anything about this. I don't want him or anyone to think this happened. You and I can figure this out, once, we take Aaron back tomorrow. Okay? So we went on like nothing happened. It sucked, but we went on like nothing happened. Well, eventually, down the road, we ended up, splitting up. That's another story within itself. I've shared it before in the past, and maybe I'll share it down the road at some point. But that's not the point. The reason why I mentioned this is because most guys in this situation would not own up, regarding what they did or what they lacked that made her go astray. Now, again, I don't condone cheating. I'm not condoning what he did. I'm not condoning what she did. Cheating's wrong. But I understand why she did it, at least now, many years later, that I've looked back. What happened? Guys, listen up very carefully. Okay? When I first met this woman, I was at my best. Right? I would always show up. I was smelling nice, looking great, shower every day, shave. Right? I was in good shape. I was 5'10", about 170. And what happened? What happened after, the 3-month period where she, said the words, how do you feel about me, wanting to lock me down, commit to a relationship? What happened after the commitment happened? I hate to admit it, I became complacent. I got used to her being a certain way. I figured she would never leave me. Everything was great, right? So what did I do? Instead of doing my normal routine of working out and taking care of myself, right? I would focus while she was at work, and there were times where I'd spend weeks at a time at her place because of the long drive back and forth from my place. I'd spend all day, every day, 12 hours a day, 8 hours, whatever, to focus not only on my insurance business that I was still running. That was easier to run. That was pre-established. But, trying to get this new business going off the ground, creating the website for it, calling people, I spent all day, every day, okay, focusing on business, and I stopped taking care of myself. So what happened? My weight started to creep up. I started to gain some weight. Initially, not a big deal, 5, 10 pounds, not as noticeable. It's not going to be as noticeable, right? That must have been painful beyond belief, man. At that time, it was. I look back now, and I can share my story and own up, on why I feel it actually happened, and own up to my mistakes that I made during, which most men aren't able to own up to. Most men want to blame women for everything. The truth of the matter is, I'm not saying that her cheating on me was right. It was not right, but there's a reason why she did it. I'm still not condoning it, but there's a reason why she did it, right? So what started to happen? Literally. And this probably maybe already started happening a little bit before she even made the commitment with me. But literally over the next 3 to 4 months, I put on 25 pounds. I went from 5'10", 170 to 5'10", 195. And while that doesn't make me obese or extremely overweight, I was a little pudgy, right? And, your face kind of puffs up a little bit. I'm not saying I was extremely, obese or extremely overweight, but I was out of shape, right? And what ended up happening as I started to gain the weight, because her and I, we would not exercise. She would work, I would work, and she would not exercise. I would not exercise when we used to before we met each other. And we would go to nice dinners and eat a lot of carbohydrates and all that. She started to gain a little bit of weight too. And what happened? We started having sex less often, right? And I was even beginning to feel like I'm losing attraction for her, but I think she's a good person. She's going through a lot. I even kind of felt sorry for her situation, kind of like you feel about your wife, Dream, similar situation. And I should have left the relationship at that point, but I didn't. You get comfortable in something, you feel bad for people, and you allow things to continue longer than they should, to the point of where they self-destruct, just like this did, right? So if we fast forward to the day that she cheated on me, okay, her and I, right when we ended everything, and we didn't end everything right away. We ended everything like a month or two after the infidelity. We tried to work it out, right? But the truth of the matter is that, she was already lining up my replacement. When I started to, gain weight and started to not take as good care of myself, and the intimacy was less, this new doctor at her work, started working at her workplace, right? And I remember her telling me many months before the infidelity, when I was talking with her on the phone one night when I was at my place and she was at her place. We happened to not be together on this night, right? We were talking on the phone. And I asked her, how's work going? Because work wasn't going that well for her. She was unhappy at her workplace. She said, oh, work is getting better. We just hired this new doctor, and he's a really, really nice guy, and him and I get along really, really well. And I was thinking in my head at that point, I was like, sounds like she's in love with this guy, right? I should have got the hint there, right? I'm not going to get a big deal out of it. No big deal, right? But after the infidelity, because my memory is so spot on, I remembered that phone call. And I talked with her and I said, you remember that phone call we had where I asked you, I was at my place, you're at your place. I asked you, how's work going? Because, I know you haven't been feeling that great about work. And you told me that, you guys hired this new doctor, and he's a really, really nice guy, and you and him get along really, really well. Let me guess. This is the guy that you're with now. And she's like, yes. And I asked her one question before we ended the whole thing, right? And it was hard. It was hard. I wasn't as cool and calm as I am now. I wasn't a jerk either, but it was very emotionally taxing. It would be for any man in that situation. I asked her, give me a second here. I asked her, what happened between us? Be honest with me. I can take it. You want to know what she told me? She goes, I believe in the law of attraction. That's all she told me. At that point, because I was very emotional and didn't really understand what was going on completely, I kind of did. But when you're in that emotional state, even an experienced guy like me is not going to be able to figure out what really happened or what she really meant by that. If I look back now, 6, 7 years ago, she said, her saying, I believe in the law of attraction, is saying that she lost attraction for me because I wasn't the same guy that I was when I first met her. And as much as I would hate to admit it, she was right? That doesn't excuse her infidelity, right? What she should have done is told me about this before she started getting with this guy, right? I'll explain more why women do that in a second here. But in essence, basically, she lost attraction for me. A lot of it had to do with physical attraction because everything else was there. And, many of you would say that's pretty shallow. Honestly, I don't think it is. I'll tell you why. Because here's the thing. In this day and age, if you want to have a relationship as a man with a woman and you want it to work, right? Because women are independent and they have everything you have, right? Women don't need what men used to provide anymore, right? Today, it's more about, getting together and sharing each other's completeness together, not completing each other like in the movie Jerry Maguire, right? So, because of that, physical attraction is even more important nowadays. Not only for the way you look, but your health. Do you look good? Do I feel excited being intimate with you? And that has to be there as well. The intimacy has to be there. The emotional bond has to be there. The spiritual connection has to be there. And the mental connection has to be there. So did I say it right? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, you have to have all that between the two of them. If one aspect is missing out of all those 4 aspects, your relationship will either never start, or if it starts, it's gonna end at some point, more than likely within the first year. Okay. Some people say, well, I've been with a woman that was physically attracted to me, and we got together for a while, and it just didn't work out. Well, because besides the physical attraction, you had nothing more to offer to her in her eyes, right? She didn't perceive any value beyond the intimacy. Sometimes women just want to get with a guy for a while because they've lacked intimacy, kind of like my ex when she was going through a divorce. She probably didn't have intimacy for a while. I remember being intimate with her the first couple times. Like, I've never seen a woman more excited than that. Well, maybe I kind of have, but she was like overly excited, because I could tell she hadn't had that type of connection, that connection and intimacy with somebody in a long time, right? So sometimes women will get with an attractive man that's good looking, even if he doesn't have anything more to bring to the table to fulfill that need, but that's temporary. So again, unless you have the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical connection, and physical connection meaning that You got to be physically attracted to each other, right? Okay, keep yourself both in shape. If you both meet each other and you're in great shape and 6 months down the road, one of you gains 100 pounds, what do you think is going to happen to the level of attraction the other side's going to have? No matter how good of a person they are, right? American Dream 6.2 says, in a perfect world, the girl of my dreams will be beautiful and have a great physique. Sure, man, but you got to bring the same thing to the table, Dream. Here's the thing. As a man, if you want a sexy woman, don't you think in return she wants a sexy man? This is the problem with a lot of men. A lot of men feel they deserve sexy women just because they're a successful man financially, right? Or successful in different ways. No, women want a sexy man too. They want more than a sexy man, but they do want to be physically attracted to you as well. Here's my response to that, right? My response to that is this. And I've noticed this. I used to have very high, picky standards on physical appearance alone. And let me tell you, when I got into my 40s, I changed that. Now, I'm not saying the women that I dated weren't beautiful. They were beautiful to me, but according to society standards, they'd be considered average, right? Okay? Let me tell you something. I've grown to understand and have better relationships and connections with women that, according to society standards, are average looking, okay, than women that are extremely good looking according to society standards, right? I'll tell you why it works. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, American Dream 6.2 and anyone else watching this live or on the replay. And mark these words. This is the truth. If a woman perceives you to have less value than her, it'll never work out. Or if you're with a woman and she initially perceives you, to have more value than her, but then let's say you gain weight or you start running out of money and everything that you had to bring to the table initially gave you that perceived value or gave her that perceived value to her that's higher than hers. It'll work at that point, but if that perceived value gets to a point of where she feels she has a higher perceived value of herself than you, what do you think is going to happen, right? A lot of guys, out here on YouTube and other platforms say women are hypergamous, right? Women are always, seeking upwards, right? They're always seeking the best possible man, right? Well, why don't you become that best possible man and then she won't have to keep looking, right? I don't think my ex that cheated on me really wanted to do that. Again, I don't condone her doing it. I don't think she really wanted to do that. I bet you if I kept myself in shape and was the same person I was exactly when I first met her, we might have still been together today, right? So truth is American Dream 6.2. This is the cold hard truth that a lot of guys don't want to hear, Dream. This is what makes me a better person, in my opinion, nowadays, because look, I can come out here and own up to the truth, right? If I want to have true love and happiness, if I want to finally get what I want, I've got to own everything I've done before, right? Including my relationships. And part of moving forward from this cheating relationship, this infidelity, is looking back and seeing, what did I do to cause that, right? What did I do? What did I lack? How did I change, right? Because I did, right? How am I going to better myself if I can't admit the things I did wrong? Most guys won't look at it this way. They'll just blame the woman because she cheated, right? right? But again, understand this, guys. Especially more so in the modern world where women are buying their own homes, buying their own cars, making their own money. They don't need a man for anything, right? But they do enjoy the companionship of a man, right? They enjoy the companionship of a man, right? But if they perceive you to have less value than them, then why would they want to be with you, right? If you're not at least as physically attractive as they are or more, if you don't make at least as much money as they do or more, right? Do you understand? Do you understand this? And if you're going to say, well, that's a pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty shallow woman, right? Well, if you're going to call her shallow and you're looking for the same thing, you're shallow too, right? So why is that going to make her shallow, right? Should she give up, her high standards of wanting an attractive man physically and wanting a man that makes at least as much money as her? Okay. Should she give that up? Okay. You want a hot woman. You want a woman that's able to pay her bills too, right? So why wouldn't she want that in the man, right? You got to look at it that way. It's a two-way street, right? Until you can understand that, especially in this modern world, none of your relationships will work. So here's the thing, like with me, I'd rather date an average looking woman according to society standards, which to me makes her hot, right? Right? I thought my ex was hot. According to society standards, she's probably average, right? Okay? But I thought, to me, she was hot. You know why? She had a great personality. And I thought, the way that she carried her body looked good to me. And her attitude was amazing, right? But why did it work? Why did it work? Number one, she was raised well. But the reason why I felt it worked was because she perceived me to be more attractive than her. I'm not trying to be critical to her. I don't even think she watches my content anymore. But I'm being honest here, right? I brought a lot to the table, right? I brought a high level of perceived value, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Our intimacy never died from the beginning to the end of the relationship, right? Okay? Our communication was great. Okay? And I will even tell you this. Even after that relationship, I gained like 25 pounds again. And I don't think that's the reason why, that's not why our relationship ended. She had gained some weight too. And then I lost it after that relationship. But what I'm trying to say is that, despite the fact that we split up, I've talked about that before, it's not a big deal. It's not the point of the show here. But with her, it worked out because even though she's a good woman, she perceived me to be of higher value. At least as good as her, if not maybe better in her eyes. If a woman does not perceive you to be more attractive physically, not being more emotionally stronger, not make at least as much money or more than her. If you don't have a car and she has a car, think about that, right? If anything is lacking, it's not going to work out. Now, before I take my first break here, then I got to come back and blitz through this article because I have a hard stop at in 44 minutes at 11:45 Eastern, 8:45 Pacific. So why didn't my ex that cheated on me break up with me before sleeping with this guy or getting with this guy? Because many women are like this. They just can't be without a man. They just need to always have a man in their life. And, even though, she was falling out of love with me, and I guess me with her, but more so her with me. She was getting other things from me that she needed during that time, and she wasn't ready to give me up. But she knew once she got what she wanted, she was going to give me up. And at that time, she wanted to have her replacement lined up. So a lot of women, what they'll do in this situation, which this is the narcissistic thing. This is a narcissistic thing, and it's not cool, but many women do it, right? I kind of understand it. I still think it's wrong, okay? They line up a replacement. She started having sex with this guy. She didn't want me to know about this, but she was basically, seeing him and I at the same time. And, it's going to take 2 to 3 months for a woman to see if a relationship works out. So she was probably dating this guy even for maybe a month before, I caught her cheating, right? So she's doing that because she wants to get a feel to see if he's going to be the right guy. So at that point, when she feels, she's ready to move forward with this guy, that's when she'll break up with me and move right to him. It'll be a seamless transition, right? And you guys got to understand that that's what happens, right? And that's where the lack of integrity comes in. Like it's not cool, but there are some, if not many women out there that will line up a replacement because they just can't be single. They don't ever want to be single. They don't want to go a day without having a man in their life, right? And if the man they're currently with is not working out, they don't want to completely give him up because that guy's providing at least something for her in the meantime until the replacement she's lined up pans out, right? In her head and in her heart, right? It's pretty sad, but that's what happens. So that's my story. Now, folks, I'm going to take a quick break here. When I get back, I'm going to quickly go over this blog. It's not a blog. It's actually a posting from Reddit. Another content creator actually did a story on this, and I really liked it. I want to share it with my audience. It's called Just Want to Vent My Experience on Being Cheated On, 27 Male and Moving Forward. So I'm going to go through that, and it's probably going to take me 30 minutes to go through it. So I better just shut my mouth and cue up that royalty-free YouTube music and keep things moving. I actually have a phone call with a good woman that I started talking with last night. She seems like a good woman. Let's see what happens, right? I've had many conversations lately, and most of them really don't pan out. But you just keep moving forward. I feel actually really, really good about this one, but let's see what happens. All right, let me cue up that music. I really wonder where my mods are at tonight. It's odd to me that not one of my moderators are here right now besides American Dream. Not one of my original moderators are here right now, which is fine. I understand it. But that makes me, I can understand if most aren't here, but if none of them are here, what's really going on? It's all good. Not a big deal. Mods can come and go as they wish as well. All right, let me cue up that music. Let me see. Just need one more. Do-do-do-do. All right, folks, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for a 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. When we get back, we're going to get to that Reddit posting. It's titled, Just Want to Vent My Experience on Being Cheated On, 27 Male and Moving Forward. I'm going to put my own spin on it. So stick around, stick around, stick around. We'll be right I'm back. Yeah. Something fishy is going on. That's all right. I'll briefly talk about it here in a second. But hey, don't ever let anything bring you down or prevent you from moving forward on your goals, dreams, and aspirations. No matter what, keep moving forward. Like they say in show business, the show must go on. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Settle down, Eli. You got to get this done in 30 minutes. It's going to be a challenge. Gonna have to do some speed reading. Yeah. Yeah, the song is called Let Your Body Rock by MK2 from the YouTube audio library. Yes. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube, and once again also simulcasting live on Facebook. Glad you could all join me here tonight. It is 11:16 p.m. Eastern, 8:16 p.m. Pacific. American Dream 6.2 with a $2 super chat. Welcome back. Thank you, Dream. Dream, you don't have to keep, super chatting. That's on you. That's on you. You're very in tune with your emotions, Dream. And as a man, I respect that. But another man being as in tune with their emotions as I am is a very respectful thing. I want to teach every man out there to become more in touch with their emotions. And I don't know. I get a feeling that super chat was an emotional response, a positive, considerate, loving and caring emotional response, which is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. Look who's here. Lewis Fuller's in the house. He says, good evening, Coach Eli. Well, good evening, Lewis. Good evening. Welcome to the show. It's nice to see another moderator besides Dream in here. Anyway, I'll talk about that briefly in a second here. But first, the topic tonight is why women cheat on good men. Whose fault is it really? The truth will shock you. One more time. Why women cheat on good men. Whose fault is it really? The truth will shock you. If you missed the first part of the show, go back and listen to my story. It makes a lot of sense. Many of you guys may not agree with it or, may come at me in a different way. But if you truly understand what I said, you will learn a lot and it will help you get further ahead in life. It will help you by not wasting your time with the wrong person. It will help you, better yourself and maintain the better side of yourself, because in order to make it work with a woman, you gotta show up being your best, and you gotta maintain your best, which is what I'm trying to say. If you show up great, and then 3 or 4 months down the road, you start to slip, you become complacent, you gain weight, you make less money, your car breaks down and you don't have a way to get around. If things start to fall apart like that, how are you going to be perceived by the other side, right? Anyway, Lewis Fuller says, I'm watching your ads. Thank you, Lewis. Hi, American Dream. I'm just going to say real quick, I don't know if there's something funny going on or not. I really could care less. It's just odd to me that on a Sunday night, when typically there's a much bigger audience here, especially, with my moderators and people that have been supportive of this channel, for there to not be that type of a turnout here is kind of making me wonder. I'm a very intuitive guy, and, I look at, every aspect of my YouTube channel and my coaching business very, very closely, and just something is off. Something is off. And if that's the case, so be it. I'm not out here to suck up to anyone or beg anyone to be around or participate. You want to be a part of this? I'd love to have you. I'd love to help you get the best possible grip on your life so you can accomplish whatever it is that your heart desires. If not, that's okay. If what I say is too harsh because it's the truth and it's what will actually help you get ahead, if you've had enough of that, that's fine. If you're a moderator and you no longer want to be a moderator, let me know. We can handle that professionally and maturely. We can part ways professionally and maturely. I'm not going to attack you or talk smack about you. I want people to be a part of this channel that truly want to be a part of this channel. Anyway, I got to really get right to this because I only have 25 minutes to go through this. So let's switch over to the browser source. This is from Reddit. Another content creator did a video on this. I really like this content creator. He runs the Strong Successful Male channel. I really like this guy. I think he's from the former MGTOW community. He caters his content 100% to men, obviously, strong, successful male. But I cater to both sides. But he actually did a video on this posting here on Reddit. And I thought it was just such an interesting story. I wanted to share it as well and put my own spin on it. So let's get right to it. Okay. Just want to vent my experience on being cheated on, 27 male, and moving forward. Hello. Just wanted to share my story with people that have been through what I went through. So I was married with a 2, almost 3-year-old daughter when I found out my wife, 26 female, cheated on me. Wonderful. Sorry to hear about that. This happened when she went on a cruise with her 2 girlfriends. Always happens when they go away, right? They left and came back. And then a few days later, after getting back, my ex-wife now states that she thinks we need to separate for a while, the day before my daughter's 3rd birthday. That's so kind of her. Wow. That's so considerate. She made you aware, but wow, such great timing, right? This was out of nowhere. We had never had this kind of discussion before. Okay. But she's been feeling this way for a while, bro. I'm not condoning the cheating, but what were you lacking that she felt she had to go elsewhere to get? Did you gain weight? Were you not taking her on dates anymore? Were you not as intimate with her anymore? Like what happened? And now I'm not condoning what this woman did, right? But I have to ask you guys, how are you showing up initially? And down the road, are you maintaining how you initially showed up, or are you slipping? Are you becoming complacent, right? Backstory, I was in school at the time, working full-time and taking care of my daughter in between, along with moving to a new house in our town. We would argue, okay, that's a big mistake right there. Never argue a woman. You're not gonna get anywhere, you're not gonna win. Women are emotional beings. They respond to everything emotionally based on how they're feeling in the present moment. And at times, they're gonna become emotional over something that doesn't even involve you. And they're going to look at you to see how well you handle it. Are you going to handle it maturely and just say, babe, you're being ridiculous. Come here, give me a hug, give me a kiss. I'll make you feel better. Let's go to dinner. Let's snuggle up. Let's make love, whatever. How are you handling it, dude? Obviously not the right way because you argued a woman. That's stupid, bro. Never argue a woman, ever. Ever. And honestly didn't have the best communication skills. Okay, that's another problem. If you both lack communication, let's say she was a horrible communicator, why were you with her in the first place? Was she hot? Was that the reason? Was she a hot chick? And you're a single man you're a single father, you have a child, and you're just settling for any hot chick that would give you the time of day and satisfy your sexual needs? No one looks at it this deeply. I do. It's the truth, right? With all that being said, when she asked me about going on the cruise, I said, sure, no problem. What else are you going to do, bro? If a woman's going to do something and wants to do something, you have to support her, whether you like it or not. And if you feel like her going on that cruise is going to make you worry, then why are you with her, right? Right? If you're with a good woman and you trust her, she trusts you, it wouldn't matter what she does with or without you. She's going to be loyal and faithful. as long as she perceives you to be a high status man, as long as she perceives you that to be a good looking guy, at least as good looking as her or better, make as much money as her or more, right? Okay. Be in good shape, or at least be in better shape than her, right? If she perceives herself to have more value than you, why is she going to want to be with you, right? Why are you with her? Because you perceive her to be a high value, attractive woman, right? She watched our daughter, at least that's what she thought. She watched our daughter the majority of the time, and I felt like it would be a nice thing for her to do with friends. So you have a single woman that's 26 years old, probably not ready for kids, doesn't want to be a mother to someone else's child. It almost feels like she was forced to become a mother. And all she wanted to do was be with you, right? Now, when you're dating a single father or a single mother, you got to understand the kid comes along with the territory, but there's a better way to approach it initially. It sounds like you kind of threw this on her. Oh, wow. Even though we didn't really have the money to be doing it at the time, I would watch our daughter while she went. So after she asked me about separating, I was very upset and ended up leaving for the night to go to my parents' house. She left you, bro, because she wasn't getting what she thought she was going to get out of the relationship. Because you probably didn't start showing her your true colors until after you started dating. You got her to believe you're this, high value guy because she was probably hot and you just wanted to go downtown, my friend. That's the truth of the matter. Yes, absolutely, says American Dream 6.2. Yes, absolutely to what dream? I'm curious to know. So you shouldn't have gotten upset. You should have had a conversation with her and said, hey, babe, why is this not working for you? Let's talk about it. Let's see if we can figure it out. If not, let's do the mature thing and just part ways, right? But no, you didn't handle it that way. Plus, you're 27. You're still young. This is going to be a learning experience for you. We ended up canceling our birthday party with the family. We end up talking and agreeing to try and work things out. So I find a marriage counselor and get us going to her that week. We were going for about 3 to 4 weeks until I found out the real reason for her wanting to separate. I already know the reason. Come on, dude. You think she really wanted to go to counseling? Do you really even understand, dude, why she's doing what she's doing? I don't condone what she's doing. But it sounds like to me, she was trying to get out of this relationship that she initially thought was more valuable than it actually is. Because of the way that you showed up initially and, how you slipped going the other way. The two friends that went with her on the cruise were mutual friends of mine too, and we all actually worked together at the same time, or at that time, sorry. Friend 1 was acting semi-normal. Friend 2 was a little uneasy, talking with me, and knew about my ex-wife wanting to separate with me. Okay. She knew we were going to counseling now, and asked me how everything was going. I told her I thought it was going well. Well, you were oblivious to your own mistakes, dude. This is going to be a learning experience. Also of note, my wife at the time was telling me that friend 2 was acting weird on the cruise and got upset at her, and friend 1 didn't really disclose anymore. Well, of course they're not going to disclose anymore. But dude, put 2 and 2 together and figure it out. Come on, dude. Come on, man. So fast forward to me and friend 2 talking at work when I tell her friend 1 and my ex-wife are going to other cities for a girls' trip that next week. That's when she tells me hesitantly about some guy whose name I had never heard. Oh. But the Chad, you now know, what his involvement was. Yeah. She had been talking to my then wife about it all, trying to get her to come clean about the whole thing to me. Of course, she should, and now she's trying to. My ex-wife had told her that she stopped talking to the guy and wasn't going to do anything else. She also told me that friend 1 also slept with a guy on the cruise, and they were trying to get friend 2 to join with the third guy. Oh my God. Oh boy. Oh boy. I go home after work and confront her about this guy. She tries to deny the whole thing. What's she gonna do, bro? Tell you something that she knows is gonna upset you? Women are not gonna come out and directly tell you, at least initially, because like I said earlier in the show, during the first part, she's probably trying to line up a replacement. This guy's probably the replacement she has lined up, and she's trying to, see if that's going to be the relationship she wants. And then, as I see what's happening now, she's trying to tell you in more subtle ways. That's how women are. They try to tell you in more subtle ways. She doesn't want to hurt you, but she's just not happy in the relationship because of how you initially showed up. And or this was a marriage, I believe, how you initially showed up compared to how you ended up being. You slipped, man. You slipped. Sounds like you've lost emotional self-control. Sounds like maybe you put on some weight. Sounds like, you're not the same person that she initially met. Because if you were, she'd still be with you, right? I pressed her more. She finally acknowledged that she had slept with him on the cruise. Okay? I did the same thing with my ex. She's not going to come out and tell you. But at some point, you keep pressing because you want to know. She's going to tell you. So that's great. She told you. It's not right what she did, but again, I feel the reason why she did that is because you changed. You became complacent. You stopped being the cool, decent alpha male you initially were when you attracted her initially. She was also still actively talking and texting him daily while we were going to marriage counseling because she perceives him as higher status than you. Okay? She perceives him not only higher status than you, higher status than her. He's probably a very attractive guy, better looking than you and her, probably makes more money than you and her. He probably is more confident than you. He probably has emotional self-control. He's probably a cool, common, collective guy. And she's attracted to that because that's what she wants in a man. And she thought she had in you, but look what happened when you slipped, right? So she was also still actively talking and texting him daily while we were going to the marriage counseling. That day I moved out and got a lawyer. We agreed upon a split custody of our daughter until we figured everything out. So the kid was theirs. So what I said earlier, I thought this guy was a single father. The kid was actually theirs. Okay. Either that or he had a kid from a previous relationship or marriage. So, I mean, he's kind of being a little bit, he's trying to explain it as best as possible. But he's not being extremely clear about this. But I already know what's going on. This guy just ended up, becoming complacent. He got used to being around this woman. You can't do that. Even if you're married, you got to treat your wife like you're dating her. You got to date and court her all the time. You got to take her out, go on weekend getaway trips. You got to do the same stuff you did when you first met, even when you're married. It's just not going to work out. Why would you want to be married to someone that you can't enjoy, the same things you enjoyed before you got married? Why would you get married if you didn't want to be the same way as you were before you got married? Come on, dude. Come on, man. We discussed our relationship more and more and finally agreed upon trying to reconcile a few weeks after me moving out. I drove all the way to our house. I had moved in with my parents at that point, 45 minutes away. When I got there, I said, if we are going to do this, you have to quit talking to the guy and friend one who you did this all with. That's a good point. You have the right to say that. But she should be the one coming to you saying, hey, you know what? I was wrong for doing that, but this is why I did it. I felt this is what was lacking. If we can work on this together, then we can salvage this, right? But I get it. You have to say that. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't quit talking to him and her to salvage a 9-year relationship because you're still not showing. You're coming off like a weak, needy, desperate, insecure beta male, dude. You're losing it, bro. You've lost your emotional self-control, and she's lost respect for you because of the way you're coming off, dude. you're not the same person she met. And you're young. I didn't realize this stuff when I was your age, so I get it. But this is going to be a learning experience. That's when I knew she wasn't the person I thought she was. Bro, you're not the same person she thought you were initially. You changed. You see what happens here? Men like to pass the buck all on women. And I'm not saying that she's not wrong here. She's wrong for doing it the way she's doing it. But there's a reason why she did it. These people were just not meant to be together. They just weren't meant to be together. That's the bottom line. This guy probably, was maybe, came off differently, pretended to be someone different initially just to attract her. And then when his true colors came out, probably after they got married, she started to see the real side of him. And she didn't like that. So she checked out, right? That's what happened. That's what happened. The coming months were absolute hell. She would manipulate me into watching our daughter on her day so she could go see her new boyfriend up north. Okay. I mean, honestly, I don't blame her for that. Like, it's wrong. She should wait till the divorce is finalized, but most women don't do that nowadays. Dude, you're acting like a weak, needy, desperate, insecure beta male. You're acting all butthurt. You're letting it get to you, and she's seeing that, right? And it's turning her more off, and it's making her want to stay away even longer, right? You're going through this divorce, right? And it's making her, and you're pushing her further and further away. You basically handed her over to this guy with your behavior, dude. Lies after lies after lies. She quit talking to friend 2 since she told me what happened. These young guys just don't get it, right? She told me it was my fault at one point because we didn't communicate well and would argue. That is your fault, dude. Number one, you don't argue a woman. It's pointless, brother. You're supposed to be a strong, confident alpha male. You're behaving like a beta dude. Beta man. Beta man. You're being a beta man. Because we didn't communicate well and would argue. Put me through absolute hell. Dude, she's telling you what the problem is, and you're not listening. This woman is actually telling you the problem right in front of your face. Let me check the chat real quick here. Nothing going on in the chat. Facebook, Darren's there. Sorry, brother. That's cold. What's up, coach? Caught leopard shark today. Awesome, bro. I don't know if you're still around, Darren. I'm only going to be on another 5 or 10 minutes. I got to get through this. Fast forward, friend 2 and I became even closer friends through this all and started dating each other. Cool. So you met someone that's probably a better fit for you through this, and so did she, right? But what you're not seeing, dude, is the fact that she has been trying to tell you the issue all along, and you're just letting it go over your head. When a woman talks, listen. You don't have to agree with her on everything. But dude, come on, dude. She basically told you where the issues were at. And you don't want to accept it because you're acting like a butthurt beta male. We've been dating each other for over a year now. She is a good person with the same morals, values as me, and loves my daughter just as much as me. I have 50-50 custody of my daughter, which I love. Great. So it looks like it all panned out, right? I keep thinking, why did this happen to me? Because you were acting like a beta man. Beta man! Dude, you lost your, I'll say poop to satisfy the YouTube algorithm. Dude, when you first met her, you were at your best, right? Or you pretended to be at your best, or somehow you convinced her you were this type of person. And then you got married to her and started showing her your true cards, your true colors. And she didn't like it because you weren't the same person she initially fell in love with, right? She tried to tell you that. You didn't listen. Come on, man. But I've come to realize it's made me stronger. That's good, dude. I hope you learned your lesson. I hope you understand what happened. She was in the wrong, no matter how bad she says our relationship was. She was wrong for cheating on you and not waiting to be with this guy until after your divorce was finalized, or at least legally separated, right? Okay? But the reason why she did it, which is what you're still not understanding, is because you ended up not being the same person you were when you first met her. This guy's not owning up to anything, right? Probably because he's young and doesn't have enough experience to understand it. But even if he does, he's probably one of those guys that thinks, women are always wrong no matter what. They're not. They're not. For me, I'm not going to put a woman on a pedestal, but I'm also not going to tell a woman she's wrong when she's not. And if she's wrong about something, I'll tell her, but I'll do it maturely and respectfully, right? I'm not going to argue her. If she starts to argue me for me calling her out on something that I know is a lie, I'm going to say, look, I'm not going to argue you. It's pointless to argue women. You're going to get all emotional on me, right? This is how I feel. This is how you're making me feel because you're doing this. Now, you have a choice. You can change this attitude and we can continue moving forward, or I'm going to walk away, right? But I'm not going to argue you. There's nothing to argue here. There's no point, right? That's how a strong, confident, mature alpha male handles things. Dude, you were being a beta man, beta man, beta, 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 beta man, right? Beta man. No matter how bad she said the relationship was, doesn't excuse the lies, cheating, and manipulative behavior she put me through. Dude, she tried to tell you. I can understand why you feel that way. But dude, you should be an intuitive enough man, or you should be able to read between the lines and figure out that you weren't doing your part, dude. She was wrong in the way she executed it. But you got to understand, when a woman checks out, even if she's married and she checks out, once she checks out, it's over. And she's not going to tell you because she needs somewhat of what you're providing for her in the meantime until she finds your replacement. She lines up your replacement, starts dating him, sleeping with him. That relationship starts to move forward. And then she tells you how she actually feels, because now she's got her backup plan ready to go, right? It's not the right way to do it, but I understand why she did it. You're not. You're putting the blame all on her and not even looking at what you did to contribute to this, bro. Also, around 9 months after everything, she came crawling back to me, saying it was all a mistake and she was sorry. That's because the other guy probably dumped her. And she wanted to come back to you temporarily until the next better guy comes along. This and that, wanted to work it out. She had quit talking to him a few months after everything. Total BS. She showed me her true character when I was bawling my eyes out after finding out about the cheating and her spitting all over me. The bottom line is this woman is looking for somebody that's compatible with her. And she's not finding that. And she doesn't want to be alone. It's not a healthy thing. She's probably a little narcissistic, like my ex was that cheated on me. But the bottom line is that she wanted to come back to you because she knew you were a sure thing until the next best thing comes along, or what she perceived to be the next best thing. But yeah, you didn't take her back, right? Because you're still with that new woman, right? Sorry for the long read. Felt good to write it out. That's good. That's good. You got to let it out. I'm in a great place in my life with a beautiful woman and daughter who appreciates me. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations, bro. And one of the comments I'll read, took you a few tries to end it, but you made it and ended up in a better place. Well done. Yes, he ended up getting somebody better. And hopefully he learned his lesson. Because if he slips down, if he goes down the same path he did with his, ex-wife, this new woman here is going to do the same thing, more than likely, or at least leave him. If he's not the same person that, he was when he first met this new woman, if he changes, becomes complacent, gains weight, and doesn't take care of himself, doesn't continue showing up in the same ways he did initially, this is going to go down the same way. Hopefully he learned his lesson. And hopefully, folks, you learned your lesson regarding this as well. Let me switch back over to full screen. It is 11:45 Eastern, 8:45 Pacific in the evening, and we finished right on time. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Let me check out the chat real quick. Darren says, I'm back now. Sorry. Yeah, no problem. Darren, come and go as you wish, bro. We're about to go off the air. Because I have what seems to be a decent lady to talk with on the phone a little bit here. Let's see here. I just shared you out, says Lewis. Thank you. Yes, absolutely, says Dream. There are no good men, says Soranai. Okay. There are good men out there. Information Man Show. Peace to you, says Information Man Show. Okay, cool. Thank you. Wild, right? Oh my God, children too. That's hard, says Dream. You're right, says American Dream. Lewis says, I'm back. Yes, looks good, says Information Man Show. All right, that's that, folks. I'm sorry I have to wrap this up right now. I got a phone call to make in about 14 minutes. Hey, I love doing these shows. Who knows? Maybe I'll come back for a late night stream. I'm not quite sure. If not, I'll definitely be back tomorrow for another show. But hopefully you folks learned your lesson on this regarding why women cheat on good men. Whose fault is it really? The truth will shock you. You missed any parts of this show, go back and check out the replay. Check out at least the first part. I shared my story. Okay? I shared my story and my thoughts in ways unlike any other man out here on YouTube or Facebook would share their thoughts. And if you think about it and you listen very closely or listen to it a couple times, you're going to understand everything I'm saying. It'll make a huge difference in your life. I promise you it will. All right, folks. Thank you to everyone for being here. Have yourselves a great night, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, be right back? No, we're not. We're not coming back. We're done. There we go.